The galaxy had seen many battles, but nothing prepared them for this one. Across the stars, the name of the alien elite squad was feared by all. They were the strongest, the fastest, the most brutal fighters in the known universe. Every world they visited had fallen in days, sometimes in hours. They never lost, and they never showed mercy. When the Galactic Council declared humanity weak and unworthy of respect, the elite squad laughed the loudest. They called humans soft animals, fragile creatures, and a mistake of evolution. For the galaxy, humans were just a young race, trapped on one small planet. No great fleets, no ancient weapons, no mighty empires. To everyone else, humanity was nothing but background noise in a universe full of power. So when the alien elite squad was ordered to challenge Earth, the whole galaxy tuned in to watch. Billions of eyes focused on the broadcast as the squad landed on a barren moon, the chosen battlefield. Their armor shone like fire, their weapons hummed with deadly energy. Each soldier stood taller than 3 men, their faces hidden behind helmets of steel. They were legends, walking nightmares, a living storm of war. But when the cameras turned, people saw only one figure waiting for them. Not a squad, not an army, not a warship, just a single human. He was not armored with shining steel, not glowing with alien power. He wore simple combat gear, the kind that looked ordinary, almost fragile. In his hand was no great weapon, only a bottle of beer. The crowd watching across the galaxy laughed, the commentators laughed, even some members of the council laughed. The elite squad pointed at him and mocked, their voices carried across the battlefield. "Is this your champion?" one sneered. "This fragile creature is all Earth can offer." But the human did not flinch. He stood calmly, his face unreadable, his eyes steady as stone. The laughter grew louder, but still he stayed silent. Finally, the commander of the squad stepped forward, raising his massive blade. "Human, your end will be quick," he said, his voice like thunder. "We will show the galaxy how weak your species truly is." The human lifted the bottle to his lips, took a slow drink, and then spoke his first words. The words were quiet, but they cut through the noise of the battlefield. "Hold my beer," he said, handing the bottle to a stunned technician beside him. For a moment, there was silence, broken only by the sound of alien laughter echoing again. They thought it was a joke, a final act of foolish bravery, but deep inside, something in his voice made even the commander hesitate. The human stepped forward, his boots pressing into the dust of the moon. Each step echoed louder than it should, as if the ground itself was paying attention. The squad prepared their weapons, energy glowing, metal blades ready. The galaxy leaned closer to their screens, waiting to see how quickly the human would fall. Yet the human's eyes were calm, almost bored. He looked at the squad as if they were not gods of war, but simple obstacles. "Do you want to know the truth?" he asked quietly. "The galaxy thinks humans are weak because we don't show our teeth, but Earth has survived monsters, wars, and death for thousands of years. We adapt, we endure, and when the time comes, we fight harder than anyone you have ever faced." The commander roared in anger, swinging his massive blade toward the human. The first strike could split a mountain, and everyone watching expected blood. But in a blur of motion, the human was no longer there. The blade crashed into the ground, shaking the battlefield. But the human stood behind the commander, untouched. Gasps erupted across the galaxy, disbelief spreading like fire. How could something so small move faster than the eye could follow? The commander turned in rage, striking again and again. Each blow carried enough power to kill 100 soldiers.
But every strike missed, the human weaving through the storm like water flowing around stone. The squad stopped laughing, their faces turning from pride to confusion, and the galaxy, once mocking, now sat in silence. For the first time they realized this fight might not go as they expected. The human straightened, brushing dust from his shoulder. His calm voice rang across the battlefield. "You laughed at humanity," he said, "but now you will learn why that was your last mistake." The cameras zoomed in on his face, and across the stars, entire worlds leaned closer. The squad raised their weapons. The commander roared once more. The human smiled, a quiet smile that made even his enemies uneasy. The fight had only begun, and yet everyone watching could feel it. This one man was about to change everything. And with that he raised his hand, signaling the true battle to start. The battlefield was silent for a breath. Then chaos exploded. The alien elite squad moved as one, their formation perfect, their power unmatched. Each warrior was armed with weapons forged from centuries of conquest, blades that burned with plasma, rifles that could shatter mountains, armor that had never been pierced. The galaxy expected the human to fall instantly, crushed under the storm of their first strike. But the human did not fall. He moved faster than their eyes could follow, weaving between deadly beams and burning blades. Every attack that should have ended him instead cut empty air. Sparks flew, the ground shattered, but he was untouched. It was as if the battle itself bent around him. The squad grew louder, frustrated, their pride burning hotter than their weapons. "Stand still and die," one alien shouted, swinging his plasma blade. The weapon sang through the air, a flash of death. But the human leaned back, the strike missing his throat by less than an inch. In that heartbeat, he raised his hand, striking the alien's chest with a single punch. There was no flash, no explosion, just impact. Yet the alien's massive body was hurled backward, crashing into a steel wall, unmoving. The galaxy gasped, entire planets falling silent as the broadcast replayed the moment. One strike, one human fist had dropped a warrior who had never known defeat. The squad froze, their confidence shaken for the first time. But the human did not stop. He pressed forward, every step carrying impossible weight. Another alien fired his rifle, beams of energy cutting the air. The blast scorched the battlefield, carving glowing scars into the ground. But the human raised a small shield, nothing more than a curved plate of metal. The energy hit, sparks flying, but the shield held. The alien's eyes widened. This was no alien alloy. This was human steel, primitive, simple, yet stronger than all their advanced weapons. "How?" the alien commander roared, his voice echoing across the moon. The human only smirked. "Because you never thought we could build something better." He vanished again, his body moving like lightning. One moment he stood before them, the next he was behind, striking another warrior in the spine. The alien screamed, falling, his weapon clattering to the dust. 2 down, 6 left, and the galaxy held its breath. The commander barked orders, the squad shifting into new formation, their armor linked, their weapons humming with combined power. They summoned a wall of light, a barrier that had held back armies. No one had ever broken through it, not once in 1,000 years. The human paused, studying it with calm eyes. "Beautiful," he whispered, "but not enough." He placed his hand against the barrier. For a moment, nothing happened. Then cracks appeared like lightning across glass. The squad shouted in disbelief, pouring more power into the shield. But with a single push, the human shattered it. The barrier broke into a storm of light, exploding outward. The aliens stumbled back, their formation broken. The galaxy erupted. Shouts, screams, disbelief flooding the broadcast. This was impossible, yet it had just happened before their eyes. The commander growled, rage and fear mixing in his voice. "You think you are strong? You are just one human." The human tilted his head, his calm voice cutting like a blade. "Exactly. Just one," he said. "Imagine what happens when Earth stops holding back." The words spread like fire, whispered across the galaxy. If one human could do this, what could an army do? What could a fleet do? What could Earth truly be hiding? The commander roared, activating his own weapon. His blade split into 3, glowing with a storm of energy. This was his true weapon, the weapon that had conquered entire worlds. The ground shook, the air burned, the battlefield trembled under its power. The squad cheered, believing victory was still theirs. The galaxy leaned closer, waiting to see the human finally destroyed. But the human only smiled, his calm eyes glowing with strange light. He whispered, almost too softly to hear, "You wanted a show? Then watch closely." The commander swung, the battlefield erupting in fire. But as the flames cleared, the human still stood, untouched. The commander's eyes widened in shock. The human lifted his hand, revealing a hidden device glowing in his palm. It pulsed with power, unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. "This," the human said, his voice calm, "is just the beginning." The broadcast froze on his face, his quiet smile more terrifying than any weapon. The squad tensed, the galaxy trembled, and everyone knew. The real battle had not even started yet. The galaxy had already seen the impossible. A single human had broken the unbreakable shield, had struck down warriors no one else dared to face. Yet the real storm was only beginning. The alien elite squad stood frozen for a heartbeat, their pride shattered. They had never been pushed this far, never been humiliated in front of billions. Their commander's glowing weapon hummed like a living star, but even that seemed weaker now. And in the center of the battlefield, the human stood calm, his palm glowing with a strange light. Across the galaxy, voices whispered the same question. What is that power? Where did humans get it? Some believed it was stolen alien tech. Others claimed Earth had been hiding something for centuries. But one truth was clear. This was no ordinary human. The commander roared, forcing his squad forward. Attack together! Overwhelm him! He shouted. The squad obeyed, their weapons combining into a storm of energy. Blades cut through the air, rifles fired beams brighter than suns, grenades cracked the moon's surface into fire. It was enough power to end armies, to destroy continents, but the human still moved. His body twisted and turned with impossible speed. Every shot missed, every blade met empty air. To the galaxy, it looked less like fighting and more like a dance. Every movement was perfect, every strike precise. And then, he countered. He grabbed one alien's arm mid-strike and twisted. Armor cracked like paper, bones shattered under his grip. With a single motion, he slammed the soldier into the ground, the crater glowing from impact. Another alien fired from behind, but the human raised his strange glowing device. The blast hit, brighter than a star, and vanished. The device drank the energy like water, leaving nothing behind. The galaxy gasped. A weapon that could erase a city had been absorbed like it was nothing. The human glanced at the device in his palm, then at the alien. Thanks, he said calmly. I'll use that. And then with a twist, he released the stored energy. The blast shot back at the alien 10 times stronger. The warrior screamed as he was thrown across the battlefield, his armor melting. Another one down, the squad faltered, their voices shaking through the comms. This is not possible, one stammered. No creature should fight like this. Is he even human? Another whispered. But the commander silenced them with a roar. Do not forget who we are. We are the elite. No human can defeat us. Yet his voice betrayed him. Fear had entered his tone, and the human heard it, smiling faintly. You call yourselves elite, he said softly. But on Earth, you'd be nothing more than training partners. The word spread like fire through the broadcast. On every world, beings who once mocked humanity now sat in silence. The squad, proud and legendary, had become little more than toys before one man. The human stepped forward, and with each step, the ground cracked. He raised his fists, his calm voice echoing once more. You wanted to know human strength? He asked. Then see it with your own eyes. He lunged, striking 3 soldiers in seconds. One fell from a kick that split his armor. Another dropped when the human's elbow broke his helmet. The third collapsed as the human caught his blade mid-swing and shattered it with bare hands. The battlefield glowed with sparks and smoke. The squad cut down to half their number. Billions across the galaxy leaned closer to their screens. No one spoke. No one laughed anymore. Even the council members who mocked humanity now shifted uneasily. This was no joke. This was no mistake. Earth had hidden its true strength, and now the galaxy was seeing it. The commander, desperate, activated his blade's full power. The ground tore apart, shockwaves shaking the moon. This ends now, he shouted, striking with fury, but the human caught the blade between his hands. The weapon hummed, screamed, cracked, and broke. Shards of alien metal fell to the ground like glass. The squad gasped, the commander's eyes wide with disbelief. His legendary weapon, the weapon of conquest, destroyed in human hands. The human leaned close, his voice soft but sharp as a knife. You wanted to show the galaxy our weakness, he said. Instead, you've shown them our strength. The galaxy trembled with those words, because they knew. If this was only one human, the rest of Earth was far more dangerous. The commander stumbled back, his pride gone, his squad broken. But he had one last card left, one final secret hidden within his armor. As the human prepared to strike again, the commander pressed a hidden switch. The battlefield shook as the ground split open. From the cracks rose a machine, vast and monstrous, a secret weapon designed not for battle, but for destruction. The galaxy gasped, Fear spreading once more, the commander's voice thundered. You think one human can defeat us? Then face this, the weapon that destroys planets. The human stood still, his eyes narrowing, his faint smile never fading. He whispered 3 words that made the galaxy shiver. Good, I was waiting. And as the monstrous weapon powered up, glowing brighter than a sun, the galaxy realized the next strike would change history forever. The ground split wide open, and the machine rose like a mountain of steel. Its surface glowed with runes of alien power, its cannons humming with the energy of suns. This was not a weapon of war. It was a weapon of extinction, the kind of device used only to erase entire civilizations from history. The galaxy stared in horror. This was not supposed to be revealed in a duel. The elite squad had broken every rule by calling forth a planet killer, but the commander no longer cared for honor, he only cared about survival. The human stood calm as the weapon locked on him. It's massive. Cannons rotated, light gathering at their cores. Each second grew heavier, the battlefield shaking under its power. The squad smirked again, believing this time the human would finally fall. Billions of viewers whispered the same thought. No one can survive this, the commander shouted, his voice trembling between rage and desperation. Human, this is the end. You may be fast, but no living thing survives the fire of worlds. The human tilted his head, his faint smile never fading. He whispered words that carried across the battlefield. You still don't understand. The weapon fired. Beams of pure destruction shot across the battlefield, each one brighter than a star. The moon shook, the ground cracked, shockwaves tore through the sky, entire sections of the battlefield turned into molten rivers of fire. Even the cameras trembled, static flooding the galactic broadcast. When the smoke cleared, the squad cheered, but their cheers died in their throats. The human still stood. His body was outlined in light, a protective field surrounding him like a living shield. The beams that could erase worlds had done nothing but scorch the dust around his feet. The galaxy gasped as one, disbelief spreading like thunder. The human lifted his glowing palm, the device now brighter than before. It pulsed like a living heart, feeding on the very energy that tried to destroy him. You built a weapon to kill planets, he said, his voice steady. We built a weapon to turn that power back on you. The squad froze, their eyes wide in horror. The human thrust his hand forward, and the absorbed energy unleashed like a tidal wave. The same destruction they fired now came back, magnified. The weapon screamed as its armor cracked, its cannons bending and melting under the force. In seconds, the unthinkable happened. The galaxy's most feared machine collapsed into fire, destroyed by the very man it was supposed to kill. Silence spread across every world. For the first time in galactic history, the unbeatable had been beaten. The human walked through the smoke, each step echoing like thunder. The squad stumbled back, their formation broken, their pride shattered. 3 of them rushed forward in desperation, their blades striking together. But the human moved like a storm. He caught one blade with his bare hand, snapped it, and drove the broken shard into another soldier's chest. The second alien fell, and the third collapsed under a crushing kick, his armor shattering like glass. The battlefield was littered with the defeated. The commander, now alone with only 2 soldiers left, trembled with fury. This is not possible, he shouted, his voice cracking. You are just one human. You cannot destroy us. The human's eyes locked on him, calm and steady. You're right, he said softly. I am just one human. And you still can't win. The words hit harder than any weapon. The galaxy felt the truth in them. If one human could bring the elite squad to its knees, what would happen if Earth unleashed an army? The last 2 soldiers tried to rally, firing their rifles together. Streams of energy lit the battlefield, but the human spun his body, the blast missing by inches. He grabbed both by their throats and slammed them into the ground. The sound echoed like the cracking of mountains, and then there were none. Only the commander remained. His blade broken, his weapon destroyed, his squad lying in ruins. His breath came in ragged gasps, pride replaced by fear. The galaxy stared, waiting for his final move. The human stepped closer. Every footstep was heavy, powerful, carrying the weight of Earth's hidden truth. You mocked us, he said, his voice low. You thought humans were weak, easy prey. Now your people watch you fall, and they know the truth. The commander stumbled backward, rage and terror in his eyes. "This fight is not over," he roared, slamming his fist again. Against his armor, hidden compartments opened, revealing a dark sphere pulsing with unstable energy. Gasps erupted across the galaxy. It was a forbidden weapon, a core bomb, capable of wiping the moon itself from existence. The commander held it high, his voice breaking with madness. "If I fall, this world falls with me. The galaxy will see humanity buried in ashes." The galaxy screamed in shock. Chaos spreading through the broadcast. Planets shouted. Leaders rose. Fear and panic drowned the stars. But the human did not flinch. He looked at the bomb, then at the commander, his calm smile returning, and in a voice colder than space itself, he said, "Try it." The broadcast froze on his face, his steady eyes locking on the commander. The entire galaxy knew. The next moment would decide everything. The commander's hand shook as he held the dark sphere. It pulsed with violent light, a weapon so forbidden that even the council feared its name. The core bomb, forged to erase moons, silence planets, and end wars before they began. Every race in the galaxy had sworn never to use it, but desperation had stripped the commander of reason. Across the galaxy, entire civilizations watched in horror. Billions of voices whispered the same truth. If he activated it, the moon would vanish. The battlefield, the cameras, the human, everything would be erased. And yet, in the center of the chaos, the human did not move. He stood calm, his eyes locked on the commander, his faint smile more dangerous than the bomb itself. "You mock us, you break your own laws," the human said softly. "Now you bring out a weapon that ends worlds, just to kill one man." His voice carried through the broadcast like thunder. "To the galaxy watching, do you finally understand how afraid they are of us?" The commander roared, raising the bomb high. "You are nothing. If I cannot defeat you, then I will destroy everything." The core bomb flared, its unstable power shaking the ground. Lightning cracked across the terrain. Battlefield, tearing the sky into fire. The galaxy screamed in panic. Some begged the council to intervene. Others shut their screens, unable to watch. But the human stayed still, his hands slowly rising, his glowing device pulsing brighter than ever before. The commander pressed the trigger. The core bomb screamed, its light exploding outward like a star. The battlefield was consumed in white fire. The moon shook, craters collapsing, mountains dissolving into molten rivers. For a moment, everything was gone. Cameras cut to static, voices went silent. Then slowly the broadcast returned and the galaxy saw the impossible. The human still stood. The core bomb was in his hand, its deadly light frozen, trapped inside his glowing device. The battlefield was silent, smoke curling through the ruins. The commander stared in horror, his voice breaking. "That's not possible. No one can stop it." The human looked at the weapon, then at the galaxy watching. "Possible?" he said calmly. "For humans, everything is possible." And with a flick of his wrist, he crushed the core bomb in his hand. The weapon that could erase a world shattered like glass. Its deadly energy dissolved into sparks, absorbed into the human's device. The galaxy gasped as one, disbelief spreading like fire. Their greatest nightmare had been turned into nothing. The commander fell to his knees, his strength gone. Around him, the last of his squad stared in silence, their faces pale with fear. These were warriors who had never bowed to anyone. But now they looked at the human with eyes that knew the truth. This was no battle anymore. It was judgment. "You see it now," the human said, his voice calm and heavy. "You believed humans were weak, fragile, unworthy of respect. But your laughter ends today. Because now the galaxy knows humans are stronger than you ever imagined." The squad dropped their weapons, their armor clattering to the ground, their voices shook. We yield." Never in history had the elite squad surrendered, but in front of one man they broke. The commander looked up, rage and shame twisting his face. No. We are the elite. We cannot lose. I cannot lose." He tore a dagger from his side, rushing at the human in madness. But the human didn't move. With a single step, he sidestepped the strike, grabbed the commander's wrist and crushed the blade in his hand. The commander froze, staring at the broken pieces, his breath shaking. The human leaned close, his words cold and sharp. "Your era ends here." But before he could finish, a loud voice echoed across the battlefield. It was not the commanders nor the squads. It was the council, broadcasting live to the galaxy. "Enough," the voice thundered. "This duel has gone too far. The human must stop now." Billions of watchers turned in shock. The council, the same rulers who mocked Earth, were now begging for the fight to end. The galaxy realized something even greater. If the council was afraid enough to interrupt, then humanity's true power was far beyond what anyone had believed. The human turned slowly toward the cameras, his calm eyes meeting the galaxy, and in that moment, the entire universe went silent. Every empire, every soldier, every leader leaned forward to hear his words. "You laughed at us," he said, his voice steady and cold. "You dismissed us. You mocked us. You thought we were nothing. But now, you will respect humanity." The broadcast froze on his face, his faint smile carrying more weight than 1,000 fleets. And as the commander collapsed in the dust, broken and defeated, the galaxy knew this was only the beginning. The council's voice thundered across the battlefield. "Enough. This duel must end now." The word spread to every screen in the galaxy. For the first time in history, the council sounded afraid. The galaxy whispered in disbelief. The same rulers who had mocked Earth now begged for the human to stop. Billions leaned closer to their screens, trying to understand. Why would the council, who feared nothing, intervene for this one man? The human turned slowly, his eyes locking on the nearest camera, his faint smile never faded, his voice calm and sharp. "Now you speak of rules? Now you beg for peace?" He gestured toward the broken commander and the shattered squad. "You were happy to laugh when they mocked us, when they tried to erase us, but now that you see the truth, now you tremble." The council remained silent, their faces hidden behind shadow. But their hesitation said more than words. The galaxy could see it, fear, raw and undeniable. The human stepped closer to the fallen commander. The alien trembled, his armor cracked, his pride gone. "You wanted to end humanity," the human said softly. "Instead, you showed the galaxy what humanity really is." He raised his hand, the glowing device pulsing brighter than ever. The squad shielded their eyes, the battlefield drowning in light, and then with a slow breath he deactivated it. The glow faded, but the silence grew heavier. The council's voice returned, but now it was shaky. "Human, state your terms. What do you want?" Gasps echoed across the galaxy. The council had never asked anyone for terms. They gave orders, they did not negotiate. And yet here they were, asking a single human what he demanded. The human looked at the camera, his calm eyes piercing through the galaxy. "You will stop mocking humanity," he said. "You will stop treating us as animals, as background noise. From this day forward, you will respect Earth." Billions of voices erupted across worlds. Some cheered, some wept, some trembled. The galaxy knew. This was no longer about one duel. This was about humanity claiming its place among the stars. But the council was not ready to surrender so easily. One of the counselors leaned forward, his voice sharp. "You think we will bow to your kind? You are just one soldier." His words spread like venom. "You cannot hold back the fleets of empires. You cannot face the armies of the galaxy." The human tilted his head, his faint smile returning. "You still don't understand," he said calmly. "I am not here because I am the strongest human. I am here because I was closest. I am not the only one. There are millions like me." The word spread like fire. Millions like him? The galaxy froze, fear gripping every leader. If one human could destroy the elite squad, what would an army of them do? The commander, broken on the ground, shouted through bloody lips. "Lies! There cannot be more like you. You are a monster, not human." The human turned his eyes toward him, his calm voice cutting like steel. "No, I am human, and that is what makes you afraid." The battlefield trembled as ships began to arrive above the moon. The council had sent reinforcements, fleets of warships surrounding the sky, hundreds of massive vessels, their cannons glowing. The galaxy gasped. This was no longer a duel. The council wanted the human erased, no matter the cost. The human looked up at the sky, his expression unchanged. "You think ships will save you?" he asked softly. He raised his wrist, pressing something hidden beneath his armor, and then space itself shifted. From behind the moon, shadows emerged. Colossal shapes, dark and silent, moving with deadly grace. Human warships, unknown to the galaxy, uncloaked one by one, each ship larger than the Council's dreadnoughts. Their hulls pulsed with strange energy, weapons never seen before. The galaxy screamed in shock. Earth had warships, warships far beyond anything the galaxy had imagined. For centuries, humanity had stayed quiet, hiding in the shadows, and now they revealed the truth. The human raised his hand toward the Council fleets. "This was never a duel," he said. "This was a warning." The human warships locked weapons, their cannons glowing with unimaginable power. The Council fleets hesitated, their commanders frozen. They had mocked humanity, underestimated them. Now they faced extinction in a single breath. The human's voice rang across the stars. "You laughed at us, you mocked us, but now you will learn why the galaxy should never laugh at humanity again." The broadcast froze on his face, the galaxy trembling. The Council fleets armed their weapons, the human warships prepared to fire. The next moment would decide the fate of the galaxy. The skies above the moon burned with light. Hundreds of Council warships hovered in orbit, their cannons aimed down, ready to fire. The galaxy held its breath, every world watching the broadcast. For centuries, the Council had ruled through fear, but now they trembled before one human. From behind the moon, Earth's warships drifted into view, silent giants of steel and light, cloaked until this moment. Each vessel bristled with weapons no alien had ever seen. They did not hum with energy. They pulsed with quiet power, calm but terrifying. It was not just a fleet, it was a message. The Council fleets hesitated. Their admirals shouted orders, but their soldiers shook. They had fought countless wars, crushed countless rebellions, yet no enemy had ever stood before them without fear, and here stood humanity, not only unafraid, but smiling. On the battlefield below, the human soldier looked up, his calm eyes reflecting the fire of the stars. "This was never about me," he said softly, his voice carrying across every screen in the galaxy. "This was about Earth." The commander of the elite squad, broken and bloodied, forced himself to rise. He shouted at the Council through his comms, "Fire! Fire on them now! Destroy the humans before it is too late!" But the Council hesitated. For the first time, the rulers of the galaxy realized their mistake. If they fired and lost, their empire would crumble in front of billions. If they retreated, the galaxy would know their fear. The human lifted his wrist, signaling the hidden fleet. The massive warships came alive, their cannons glowing like suns. The air itself seemed to tremble as they prepared to fire. Every planet watching felt their hearts freeze. The Council's fleets armed their weapons, the sky filled with the sound of charging cannons. It was a standoff that would decide the fate of empires. The galaxy whispered the same question. Who will fire first? The human's voice rang clear, steady, and calm. You thought humans were weak, but you never understood us. We don't fight for conquest. We don't fight for power. We fight for survival. And when survival is at stake, there is nothing more dangerous than humanity. The Council ships wavered, their commanders frozen, but one dreadnought broke the silence, firing a massive beam at the human fleet. The sky erupted in fire, but before the blast could strike, one human ship answered. Its cannon released a single shot. Clean, silent, devastating. The beam vanished mid-flight, swallowed by human technology. The dreadnought that fired it shuddered, glowing cracks spreading across its hull, and then it exploded into light. The galaxy screamed as the Council's strongest ship was erased in one strike. The standoff ended in an instant. The Council fleets broke formation, fear spreading faster than orders. Ships pulled back. Some fled into hyperspace, others shut down their weapons. The proud empire that had mocked Earth now scattered like frightened prey. On the ground, the commander of the elite squad collapsed to his knees. His voice shook, filled with disbelief. No, this cannot be. One human, one fleet. It cannot end like this. The human stepped closer, his calm eyes burning with quiet fire. It didn't end, Todd. He said softly. It began. He turned his face to the cameras, his voice carrying across the stars. From this day forward, humanity is no longer your joke. We are no longer your shadows. We are your equals. And if you dare to mock us again, remember this day. The galaxy fell silent. Worlds that once laughed at humans now bowed in respect. Even the council, watching their fleets scatter, knew the truth. The age of humanity had arrived. The human raised his hand. The warships behind him powered down, their weapons dimming. They had made their point. Earth did not need to conquer. They only needed to be seen. The soldier picked up the bottle he had set aside at the start of the duel. He lifted it, his faint smile returning. "Hold my beer," he said, his voice calm. And the galaxy knew those words would echo forever in history. From that day, no one laughed at humanity again.